There's a story in the news which I think reflects the fear which many companies and individuals have of the modern trend of cancel culture, because it appears a company has panicked lest one of its establishments comes to the attention of the handful of misguided, ill-informed half-wits who spend every moment God sends searching for something to be offended by. The issue is about the name of a pub in Linlithgow in Scotland. Now, the brewery who owns the pub, they want to change the name, but Linlithgow has a population of 13,000 people, and of those 13,000, 11,000 have signed a petition against changing the name of the pub. And I think this shows that the vast majority of the population, the great unwashed proletariat, are sick to fucking death of being overly politically correct just for the sake of it. The public house in question, or tavern if you prefer, has had the same name for 350 years. But the phrase used to name the pub, that's been in use in the area for over 7 centuries, so over 150 years before Christopher Columbus set foot in America. But now the name is apparently problematic. The name of the pub is the Black Bitch. I'm guessing what's happened is someone who works for Green King, the brewery which owns the pub, has gotten worried about the mob descending, because it only takes one of the anti-everything brigade to take to Twitter saying, "I've seen a pub called the Black Bitch. It's racist, it's sexist, it's somehow transphobic. The establishment supports racism, slavery, homophobia, misogyny, the patriarchy." And before you know it, all of the people with the blue hair and poor personal hygiene will be on social media brandishing their digital pitchforks. So, if the pub sign had a picture of a dark-skinned woman on it, I think most of us would be in agreement, yes, that is fucking problematic, get it down. But it doesn't. It has this picture of a black dog. And this particular black dog is a legendary greyhound called the Black Bitch of Linlithgow. There's a statue of it in the town centre. So if we break the name down now, the correct term for a female dog, because this was a female greyhound, is bitch. And I really hope I don't need to explain what colour her coat was. Thus, with very little digging, we now have context as to why the tavern has that name. There's nothing sexually or racially offensive or aggressive about it. It's named after an animal that lived many hundred years ago. And changing the name would be erasing history for no good reason. And that hasn't come from me, that's the view of the group Historic Scotland, who've weighed in on the issue. And it goes even further, because when the brewery applied to change the name of the pub, the local council effectively looked at the forms and said, "Sod you, we're not touching it." So the matter has been referred to the Scottish Government, meaning that MPs north of the border will have to sit in their devolved parliament debating whether a local boozer should have a different fucking sign hanging outside it. Given the current economic climate, that doesn't sound like the best use of taxpayers' money. And I've never worked in hospitality or catering, but the brewery actively going out of their way to piss off all their customers doesn't sound like the most astute business model. The proposed new name for the pub is the Willow Tree, a name so generic I already know that it has a set menu and a family room. But I think it's indicative of the times we're living in, where a business would rather destroy an important piece of local history and risk losing customers, rather than risk the off chance that one of the lunatics who spend every waking moment of the day looking for something to be upset by would realise there's a pub called the Black Bitch and immediately start posting over-emotional videos to fucking TikTok. Can we all collectively agree that if there's a phrase that's been in common usage for over 700 years, and that same phrase has also been painted on the side of a building for 3.5 centuries without complaint, it's not really a problem worth worrying about. As ever, thanks for watching.